Hello everybody, it's Michelle Peterson with Module 7, Google Calendar. The 7 reasons to use Google Calendar, the first and biggest in my opinion is the idea that you can share calendars and view other people's calendars as well. I know at our school we have our principal's calendars plus our personals, and you can link them all together. Number 2, get your calendar on the go. You can download the app through the App Store, which makes it really accessible, and especially with your cell phone, we have them with us pretty much 24/7, so it's very accessible. Number 3, reminders. You can get the reminders through email or text messaging. I really like the texting idea behind it because with my Apple Watch, it's very immediate. I can see it right off my watch, so I really like that idea behind it. Number 4, send invitations. I know with the working world, you get so many invites to attend meetings or all sorts of different things, activities, and it's really nice to be able to accept those invitations and also be able to see the RSVPs behind it, and you can send responses. Number 5, syncs with other applications. I like that you're able to sync your Google Calendar with like Outlook, for example. It also will automatically save into the iCloud, so I like those applications behind it. Another one is number 6, access offline, which is really, really convenient. Internet is down, something like that. You always have access to it. And lastly, it is free. I chose to compare Google Calendar with Outlook because we use Outlook at work through our school. That's what we use. So I just found a lot of the similarities between the two. Naturally, they're a little bit different, but they have a lot of the same features that I really, really like. One of the features that's pretty much the same is the idea when you add an event, you can click on the date and it immediately adds it. You can edit it, anything like that, which you can do that in Google Calendars as well. You can color code it based off of who inputted it, whose calendar it is, what the event is. It can all be color coded, just like Google Calendar as well. It's shareable as well. I know through work we have a team calendar that we have. We also have our personal calendars, and then lastly we have like our admin team calendars, which our admin team is our school calendar. So we have access to all 3 of them, and then they are color coded, so it's really easy to distinguish between them. You can also click options so you don't see that, just like in Google Calendars. You can click the options off there, so if I just want to see my calendar, I can do that. Another thing is reminders. You can set them to how early you want them, but I think it's convenient. Now, I don't know if you can do it through Outlook reminders through text messaging, so that is a perk on Google Calendars that I did find. And then the different views. Outlook, you can see it by month, by week, by day. You can break it down, and that's the same thing you can do with Google Calendars. So to get started, the biggest thing I thought was the get notifications. You're going to want to have those turned on, in my opinion. Otherwise, unless you're someone that can constantly be looking at it, where I'm not, I like to get notifications when people add new things and things like that. And then also it's important to know with Google Calendars the browsers that you can even view it in. And there's a list of them right there, so that makes it convenient. So to create a calendar, you can see I had my calendar pulled up so we can see both screens, but you need to open up your calendar, which I've already done that. And then you can click the plus sign found right here. If you click New Calendar, then you can go ahead and name the calendar to whatever you want. So we'll just name it, Michelle Family, just for time straight. And then you can add a description if you want. You have the owner. I am signed in through my HSU account, so that's why that's there. And then you can click Create Calendar. And once it processes, you will see it show up over here on the side. So now it's a new color. The next thing is creating an event. There's 2 ways you can do that. You can click on just the date. So for example, if I click on the 6th, it automatically pops up. I can add the calendar. I can add the the event. I can add the reminder. I choose which calendar that I want it to go into. And in my case, I want it to go in Michelle Family. And then I go ahead and add the time if you want to. We'll just say it's at 9 a.m. And then you hit save. And it now pops up over here on the side. Another way you can create an event is by clicking this red plus sign down here at the bottom right corner. And then you have all of your options pop up. I like this way better because you can add way more features than you could the other way. You could color code it if you needed to. I know with my husband and I's calendar that we have shared, he is one color, I'm one color, and then it's very quickly, we don't have to add any names or anything. We just know based off of the colors. Now to share a calendar, if you hover over the calendar and you click the three little vertical line of dots, then you can click on settings and sharing. And you can click over here and click share with specific people, but if you just scroll through, it is right here. But if you click share with specific people, it'll take it to the tab. And then you want to add people. You can type in their email addresses or their names. And then also you can click permissions. And I like this feature because if I'm sharing it in a school aspect, if I'm sharing this, I don't want my students and parents to be able to change events or make changes. So I would just say see only. So I like that feature behind that. I picked to sync the calendar because I think it's really important to be able to have it accessible and share it and have it with everyone else. But the syncing behind it is I wanted to be able to have it with me at all times, which is by putting it on my phone. So I kind of put the steps here, download the Google Calendar app, which is in the App Store. And since we already have a calendar over here, and I've already started one and created one, all you have to do is sign into your account and it's going to be an option. And the next thing is the settings. If you click on these and you obviously click settings and sharings, it's going to take you into the settings. You can also go up to the little gear up here and click settings. There's two ways it'll take you. They give you each one gives you different options to pick from. When you click on it over here with the vertical line of dots, that gives you like settings for that calendar in particular, whereas this one broadens it up a little bit and it just kind of gives you the overall settings. You can change when your weekday starts. You can change all sorts of different things that you see here. My favorite thing though is clear down at the bottom. This is where you'll want to add in your phone number to where you can get the text messages and the reminders through that. Also, one thing too is the settings that I liked, the feature behind it, I've mentioned it several times, is if you click this, you can change the color and then the events will show up differently based off of who input the appointment or event. When it comes to troubleshooting, I chose again syncing with another calendar because I like to have everything in one general location, which is why I always use paper pencil, my planner, because I like to take what the principal sends me and write it down, and I like to take what my husband's appointments and his meeting dates and write them down, and then mine, and they're all in one location. So I like to do the syncing with the calendar. I looked a little bit into it, and we use Outlook at my school, so we could click on the settings or the preferences is what the help told us to do, or told me to do, and then there's a two-step verification steps that you'll go through, but then you just follow how to add the Google Calendar to your other calendar. And I thought that would be really beneficial to have like my husband and I's calendar linked to my school calendar. So that's an option that I can do now that after I did that research. And that is everything, but the biggest thing is I am not familiar with Google Calendar. As I was doing these training lessons and creating and making this this Google Slides. I have never used it before. I found that it's pretty neat. My husband and I use an app that we share back and forth, and that way we can both edit all the time. But I feel like this is equally as easy. I've just never really looked into it. So as for experience, I don't really have any with Google Calendar. I've always used Outlook or my planner, or we use the Cozy app on our phones. But that is for being familiar with Google Calendar. That's not something that I am. Today was really the first day that I went in and learned about it and figured different things, and I have learned a lot, and I would say that it is super easy, and it's something that in the future I may want to have all of them in one location. But when it comes to my work, we use Outlook, so it's almost just easier to use what we all use. But now that I know I can sync them together, it could be really beneficial in the future.